Today we take a deep level dive through behavioral psychology into deviance and into a subject that can be very difficult for some people. Because if you think of the likes of Ted Bundy, the terror of the 1970s, or Jeffrey Dahmer, the modern day Hannibal Lecter, or Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, we go into territory that's uncomfortable for many people. And in part 1 of this video, I'm going to explain exactly what this is. In part 2, I'm going to show you how deep and dark this can actually get. And in part 3, I'll go over the question that comes up all the time. Is there a cure for this kind of behavior or this type of fascination? So put on your seatbelts, and if you're ready, let's get going. Many years ago, this used to be called the Bonnie and Clyde syndrome, but more recently now we call it Hybristophilia. I'm going to give you 4 quick reasons why these sorts of things happen, and then we're going to go really deep into how dark it can actually get. Now, some people have been interviewed and said these are the type of men that make the perfect boyfriend because they always know where they are, they know that their boyfriend is never going to cheat on them with another woman, and they can live their own life and never have to worry about whether or not they actually have a significant other. They can say things like, my boyfriend's in jail. Another reason is sometimes people have a desire for the spotlight. They want fame or maybe a book deal. This tends to be a little bit more nefarious because they may not actually have a fascination other than they want to be famous themselves. Other people, their hearts break because they want to nurture the little boy that's inside the criminal. Sometimes this can fall under codependent behavior, sometimes not. And then there's the people that have low self-esteem or lack of a good father figure in their lives. And yes, let's be clear, this happens generally speaking to women. There's not a lot of men that fall into the category that manifest the symptoms of hybristophilia. Beyond those 4 things, it gets even darker. Now, this level is a little bit deeper. These are the type of women that are aroused by danger or dangerous people. They're specifically sexually attracted to people that have done disgusting or terrible or dirty things. There is a specific personality type that tends to lean in this direction. I'll have to go into that in another video because I don't have time today. If you've ever met someone that really seems to have a thing for criminals or criminal behavior, it tends to go hand in hand with the type of people that have the personality that desires risk-taking behavior. Typically adrenaline junkies, people that like to jump out of airplanes and do skydiving or maybe go bungee jumping, people that love to be terrified. Now, everyone who does those things does not also exhibit symptoms of hybristophilia. However, the people that do exhibit those symptoms generally do like those things as well. And this can set off a lifelong set of dominoes that go one into the other where they seek relationships with people that do dangerous things or people that do things that run into issues with the law. Now, this can come from a childhood of abuse. It can come from a childhood of having no father figure at home, or at least one that doesn't exhibit healthy traits. But it's not everybody with that background. These are the type of people that are a very small percentage of the general population, but they exist. And now to answer the question that tends to become the elephant in the room. Is there a cure? The short answer is, unlike phobias, where you can use exposure therapy to sort of work your way through a phobia, i.e. you expose yourself to the thing you're afraid of the most, and when you have enough exposure, you start to lose the fear of that thing. Unlike phobias, philias and fetishes don't go away. This is likely something that most people, if you have it, will have for their lifetime. Now, with that being said, it used to be thought that operant conditioning would get these sorts of things under control. Operant conditioning is a behavioral therapy whereby you receive some sort of corporal punishment for exemplifying these types of behaviors and desires. And it does not always work. As a matter of fact, it can tend to drive this type of behavior further underground. So contrary to popular belief, there isn't an actual cure for a fetish. There isn't a cure for a philia. You can, through operant conditioning, be conditioned to the point where you won't publicly exhibit those things for fear of the repercussion or for fear of the punishment. But all that does is generally drive it underground. Now, I know this type of subject is completely different from most of the behavioral psychology stuff that I've been talking about with relationships. If this is something you would like to see more of, throw it up in the comment section and let me know. But in the meantime, do me a favor. If you are still here, click on one of these other videos and I will be back in the next one very soon. See you then.